Hi there.
Just in relation to the integrated project insurance, how costly is that and how helpful would it be?
Okay, we've done some extensive research in terms of how much IPI might cost. And if you look at the traditional approach, where each member of the design team, each member of the supply chain carries its own insurances, there are so many insurances in place covering the same risk. So if you look at the totality of the insurance spend under the current arrangements, and look at our best estimate for what it would be under the proposed new arrangements, we think to start with, at least, it's going to be cost neutral to start with. But if working as an integrated team creates better quality construction, and that becomes capable of being demonstrated as projects roll out, then I think the cost of insurance under the new system will be less, maybe even substantially less, than what is being paid at the moment.
Hi Steve,
Hi.
it's very interesting. I was wondering, have you been following trends in other markets, such as the US, where integrated project delivery is something that has already rolled out, and what sort of insurance products are they using over there?
In terms of experience in the US, rather than having the kind of financial loss insurance that I've been talking about this morning, which is blame-free, you insure the outcome rather than the cause. What's happened in the States is they've had project PI. And the problem with project PI, twofold. A, you still need to establish blame, so you've got the blame culture. And B, project PI does not cover defective workmanship. So every time you have a claim, the insurers argue it's defective workmanship, not covered, and the consultants are left to argue that they have been negligent, which puts them in breach of a policy condition. I'm not a big fan of project PI.
One of the things that's being discussed in Ireland at the moment is the whole issue of defects insurance, possibility of project defects insurance, building control act. Would that be something that you're all into, the whole concept of that?
Under this concept, we would give the client the option, but no more than the option, to take latent defects out at completion. But rather than saying you must have it, because it may not always be appropriate, it's an option at completion.
Steve, one of the biggest problems with project insurance tends to be the period of cover given by the cover for. In your plan or concept here, how do you see that changing or evolving?
That will be, under the initial plans, 12 years from practical completion. So that will go all the way through. But a further nuance that we may look to introduce as we gain experience in this. At the moment, property owners insure their property against most perils. Fire, flood, you name it, but not latent defects. And I just wonder whether an insurer that's been really close to the construction process, understood the team and how it's worked, might just at completion say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll insure your building on an annual basis, and I will include latent defects in there as well. And I think that makes absolute sense.
Hi, my name is David Madrulis. I'm a student here at BIT. I was just wondering, the new contract form that you were mentioning there regarding the integrated team, is that based on any of the existing contract forms, maybe such as the NEC contract?
For the demonstration projects with government, we're going to use NEC and then have Z clauses to amend NEC in line with a no-blame culture. But we are looking to draft a completely new multi-party contract. So rather than amending an existing contract, I think that what is needed in the fullness of time is a brand new contract that embodies the principles that I went through this morning. And clearly JCT and NEC are alive to this, and they're talking to us about how it might go forward. But our view is that we will learn so much on the demonstration projects about culture and about how things work in practice. But let's take that experience, that practical experience, and then embed that into a contract rather than doing it the other way around.
Sorry. Stephen, could you expand a little bit on the demonstration projects in the UK? Obviously, you're at the coalface in regard to that. I mean,
Yeah.
What type of project is it? What's the duration? Who are the clients?
Okay, if we can go Chatham House rules, because these are discussions we're having with Cabinet Office, but if we can go Chatham House rules, I'll talk you through them. In terms of the big picture, what are we looking for from government? Initially, we're looking for straightforward, comparatively low value projects that are not going to get bogged down in planning, that can go forward fairly quickly and have a build time of 6 to 9 months, because we want to learn the experience. So we have a housing association development with a capital spend of 15 million. £10 million is housing, £5 million is a care home, so it's a blended package. We have a school extension in Maidstone, and we have a new build training facility for the MOD in the southwest. So we have 3. But in talking to government in the UK, there's a really nice irony that Treasury and Cabinet Office are saying this must happen, but the coalition government also has a mantra of localism, so they can't mandate it. So we were starting there for some while, until Treasury said, well, okay, this is what we're doing. If projects come forward for funding as demonstration projects, then we'll give them the green light. If they come forward on a traditional basis, we'll be less likely to approve funding. There's a little bit of carrot and stick, but we are there now. We are there.
So these teams are actually insured in an integrated way.
Yep.
So how does that work in practice? I mean, does the insurance company look at the risks?
The insurance company employs independent auditors to look at the technical risks and the financial risks. And it's only if both of those say, we're happy with this, that the insurance goes forward. So rather than the insurance company coming along at the end, when there's a claim and a difficulty, actually involving projects up front. It's all about front-loading risk management and avoiding all the legal and forensic costs that are incurred when projects go wrong. This is a quality-driven agenda. We've had some challenges because the way in which these demonstration projects are going to be let is on the basis of best possible proposals and not best price. That creates problems in terms of European competition law. The way that we've gotten around that is to describe them as R&D projects. Because R&D projects fall outside the EU procurement rules, so we've had to be nifty here to get these home. But we are where we are.
When you talked about the good and the bad, the ugly as well?
No, it's just good and bad, apart from me.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much.
Hello, Steve. I would just, it's really a two-part question. Level 2 versus level 3 is like a big step change. And I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on that. You said level 2 is fine with the insurance industry. It would appear that when we get to level 3, the integrated project team is the only game in town, to be honest. And a sort of subsidiary to that, when we're dealing with level 2 at the moment, which is, manageable, as you say, if we haven't got the integrated project team, what are the implications, insurance-wise, for that?
I have to admit, I don't fully understand all the nuances of level 3 BIM. Some of these debates and conversations I've had with BIM practitioners, it's down, frankly, as an insurance broker. In terms of some of the potential for outsourcing design, specifications, even purchasing, and leaving it to the cloud to build, that's going to be interesting. But leaving aside that, I share your view. I think the only insurance product capable of supporting level 3 BIM is IPI. It's an only. And again, that's a driver behind API moving forward. In terms of your, the second part of your question, level 2 BIM is fine with current PI arrangements. But in order for the PI arrangements to work, level 2 needs to be constrained. I don't think level 2 BIM can be used to its fullest potential because of the need to continuously track changes, who did this, who authorised that. It can work, and the IT systems are out there to make it work, but it's just that, the question of making it work rather than freeing it to work.
I was just wondering how much work needs to be provided or what information needs to be provided for an insurance company to decide they want to insure a project, and who insures that work up to that point?
Well, if you think the initial team comes together to work up the brief to meet the client's need. And at that early stage, the insurer's eyes and ears are around the table. So if they're not comfortable with what's going on, when the client's notified, the project then doesn't go forward on an integrated basis, and the client has a choice then of either not going ahead with the project or saying, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm then going to do it on a traditional basis, in which case all the traditional insurance is kicking. So there's a gateway early on when the client and the insurers can either agree to disagree or agree to make it work on an integrated basis.
Now, okay, so if there are no more questions, we'll head into the workshop, the 2 questions that you've been given. Just for clarity, Steve, you've seen the 2 questions. Would you see a big difference whether it's level 2 or level 3 we're talking about in those questions?
Yes. I really think that level 3 is a game changer, I really do.
So you can comment on level 2 or level 3 as you please, but I think they're 2 completely different matters. In fact, I think the whole perception of BIM is held back by the lack of realisation that we are talking at the moment, even in the UK, about level 2, not level 3. Everybody sees level 3 and understands how complicated it could get and the issues that are involved in it. In the UK up to 2016, they're still talking about level 2. So it's a step business, and I think people should realise that. So anyway, about 15 to 20 minutes at the most for the workshop for the 2 questions, and then we'll go on to each individual table as usual. Thanks.